Motorola phones, they may not have the biggest market share in the United States, only having about 3.24% as of October 2024 as per StatCounter, but that doesn't mean you should take them for granted. Motorola phones are among the best and for the most part cheapest. Now, I'm not gonna give you the cheapest and just the cheapest, but I'm giving you what I think are the best ones that I'd use. Now, Motorola is mostly for radio equipment and all that stuff, or at least that's what I think, but why would I choose Motorola? Personally, I'd go for it for the near-stock Android experience and, well, just so I could get different experiences. Now, let's go over the first Motorola phone, and we're going with the cheapest first, followed by a mid-ranger, and then finish off with a fancy one, so keep on watching if you don't want to miss out on that one. Alright, this is the Motorola Moto GPL 2024. This phone released in January 16th of 2024 and is a pretty cheap phone at only $150 at the time of writing. The Moto GPL 2024 has Corning Gorilla Glass 3 at the front with a plastic frame and a plastic back. You'd be wondering why you have Gorilla Glass 3. It's like asking for a cent. You won't do much with it, but the thing is, it's better than having nothing at all. The Moto GPL 2024 has a single SIM only setup with a dedicated SD card slot. It also has only 64GB of storage with 4GB of RAM. That's really all you have for the phone. There are no models with 128GB or 256GB, but you've got a dedicated SD card slot, so there's that. The Moto GPL 2024 also has an IP54 rating, which means that there is only little protection from dust and water. Apart from that, this smartphone has an IPS LCD capable of 90Hz with a typical brightness of 500 nits, and it comes with a 720 by 1600 resolution. It's not much, but it's still something. The Moto GPL 2024 comes with Android 13 at release, but as per Motorola, it could get one software update and 2 years of patches, but I wouldn't really count on that. The chipset on this phone is a Snapdragon 680, which is understandable considering it's just $150, but the 680 isn't really that bad. I mean, don't expect flagship performance on it, but it's still a decent chip. Now, let's go over the cameras. It's got a simple setup. A 50-megapixel main camera and an 8-megapixel front camera, and that's about it, nothing else. One thing I'm happy to see is the 3.5mm jack, which is always a welcome addition for me. The Moto GPL 2024 also has a side-mounted fingerprint sensor, a 5000 mAh battery, and 15 watts of charging. Up next, we've got the Motorola Edge Plus 2023. We're going for the Motorola Edge Plus 2023 because there really isn't a Motorola Edge Plus 2024. Okay, so why don't we go for the Motorola Edge 2024 then? Because it really isn't as good as the Edge Plus 2023. Seeing all of these makes me really confused. Anyway, we're not going to talk about the Edge 2024 and the differences between it and the Edge Plus 2023, but it's safe to say that the Edge Plus 2023 is just plain better. Now, the Motorola Edge Plus 2023 costs around a little under $600 at $589 but has recently dipped down to $450, so keep an eye out if you're keen on getting this phone. It has a Gorilla Glass Victus front and back with an aluminum frame. It has a single nano SIM setup but also has eSIM support, so you don't have to worry about having only one telco provider. It has an IP68 protection, which means you have dust and water protection at 1.5 meters for up to 30 minutes. Now, the screen is a huge step up from the previous Moto GPL 2024. Instead of an IPS LCD, you've got an OLED screen capable of presenting 1 billion colors with a maximum refresh rate of 165 Hz, support for HDR10+, Dolby Vision, and a peak brightness of 1300 nits. That's a lot, but that's awesome. All of that fits into a 6.67-inch size with a screen resolution of 1080 by 2400. The phone released with Android 13 and is upgradable to Android 14. It comes with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset, so you don't have to worry about slowdowns or lag or hiccups when gaming or when performing day-to-day tasks. While it doesn't have expandable storage via SD card, it does have a base model of 512GB of storage with 8GB of RAM, and that's it. It doesn't really go higher than that. That's literally the only option you have. But what about its cameras? It has a respectable camera setup with a 50-megapixel main camera, a 12-megapixel 2x optical telephoto camera, a 50-megapixel ultra-wide camera, and a 60-megapixel front camera. Unfortunately, unlike the Moto G Play 2024, the Edge Plus 2023 doesn't have SD card support as mentioned earlier. It also doesn't have a 3.5mm audio jack, so if you're a keen user of that, be advised. Also, unlike the Moto G Play 2024 with its side-mounted fingerprint sensor, it has instead an optical under-display fingerprint sensor. I don't know why, but I really like under-display fingerprint sensors. And finally, the Motorola Edge Plus 2023 has a 5100 mAh battery with a maximum charging speed of 68 watts, a wireless charging speed of 15 watts, and 5 watts reverse wired and wireless charging if you need to charge other devices. Now, let's talk about our last phone. This is the Motorola Razer Plus 2024, which is a folding phone. It doesn't unfold into a tablet-like device. It unfolds vertically like an old-school flip phone.
Galaxy Z Flip.
When unfolded, the screen is plastic, which is understandable since you can't really fold glass, can you? When folded, however, the front is made of Gorilla Glass Victus, while the back is made of synthetic leather. It also has an aluminum frame and a stainless steel hinge. The phone has an IPX8 protection, which means you have protection from water only at 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. Now let's talk about the screens now. Both screens are identical except one's foldable and made of plastic. The external screen is an LTPO AMOLED capable of presenting 1 billion colors with Dolby Vision support, a 165Hz refresh rate, HDR10+, and a peak brightness of 2400 nits. It has a screen resolution of 1272 by 1080 and is protected by Gorilla Glass Victus. The foldable screen is almost the same, LTPO AMOLED, 1 billion colors, Dolby Vision, all of that, but it has a peak brightness of 3000 nits, a screen resolution of 1080 by 2640, and not much protection since it's plastic. The phone was released with Android 14, but it should receive at least 3 years of major updates. The Razer Plus 2024 also comes with a Snapdragon 8S Gen 3, which is a strong chipset for gaming and heavy tasks. It has a single SIM setup but has eSIM capability, but again, no SD card slot. Unfortunately, it only has 256GB of storage with 12GB of RAM. There are no other options for storage. When it comes to the cameras, we have a 50-megapixel wide camera, a 50-megapixel 2x optical telephoto camera, and a 32-megapixel front camera. Now here's a pretty awesome thing. You can use the main camera to take photos of yourself. Just for the phone, access the camera app, et voila! It also has a side-mounted fingerprint sensor, a 4000 mAh battery, which may not sound like a lot, but it is enough for a phone with practically 2 screens. It's capable of charging at 45 watts wired, 15 watts wireless, and it can charge other devices at 5 watts wired. And so, that's 3 Motorola phones that I'd recommend to you. You can find those phones through these QR codes, which should show up on screen right now, with much thanks to our video editor, or you can click on the links in the description below. I'm Tom. Have yourself an awesome day.